It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Romesh Piris and read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. The President graces the 73rd Independence Day ceremony at the Independence Square. The Prime Minister says Sri Lanka stood against numerous challenges and still continues to do so. The United States, the European Union and China extends wishes to Sri Lanka for the Independence Day. The presidential pardon for 146 inmates in view of Independence Day. Over 8,000 army personnel promoted in the light of the 73rd Independence Day. Sri Lanka's coronavirus case tally surpassed 66,000. 27 essential goods to be given at concessionary rates. And in world news, US-Russia extend nuclear pact. Now the local news in detail. Sri Lanka celebrated the 73rd Independence Day at the Independence Square this morning under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This year's Independence Day celebrations was held under the theme A Brighter Tomorrow, a Prosperous Motherland. The head of state was accorded a warm welcome by the Speaker Mahinda Yapa, Minister Chamal Rajapaksa and General Kamal Gunaratne. The ceremony officially commenced following the arrival of the local and foreign dignitaries and singing of the national anthem and the Jai Mangala Gatha. Earlier, the President has instructed to hold this year's Independence Day celebrations in accordance with the COVID-19 health guidelines and in a simple manner. The head of state commenced the address to the nation after hoisting the national flag. Addressing the 73rd Independence Day celebrations, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledged to discharge his duties as the President of all Sri Lankans. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said he has also issued directives to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry appointed to probe the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings. The President vowed not to allow racism to raise its head again. The head of state also noted and will take steps to end the corruption in the country. Furthermore, the President said that the people of the country are deceived subtly through false rumors. The head of state emphasized that Sri Lanka is a democratic nation and all citizens enjoy equal rights and rejected attempts to segregate citizens on racial or religious grounds whilst protecting the fundamental rights and human rights of all citizens under the principle that one law should prevail in our country. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledged that he will never take decisions that will damage the country and to please those who supported him to seek gains for themselves personally or for their businesses. The President pointed out that no contribution for the development of a nation can be expected from pessimists and those who do nothing but criticize the work of others. The official Independence Day ceremony concluded with a march past by the three forces and an aerial display by the Sri Lanka Air Force. The Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that National Independence Day is an opportunity to remember the unfaltering spirit and commitment of Sri Lankans in the fight for freedom. Adding his wishes on the 73rd Independence Day, the Premier says that Sri Lanka is at a point in its journey where all must work collectively to ensure that the freedom of Sri Lanka won twice is meaningful for all Sri Lankans. He also added that Sri Lanka's decision and the patriotism to protect the motherland reflects how Sri Lanka as a nation has stood against numerous challenges and continue to do so in trying times. The United States of America has added its congratulations to the 73rd Independence Day. Issuing a statement, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken added that the U.S. looks forward to working with Sri Lanka as a partner and friend to promote regional security and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. Meanwhile, the European Union has extended its well wishes to Sri Lanka on the occasion. The delegation of the European Union to Sri Lanka and Maldives, issuing a Twitter message, extended its well wishes. China also extended its best wishes to Sri Lanka on Independence Day. The Chinese embassy in Colombo said President Xi Jinping has extended best wishes for the prosperity and happiness to the Sri Lankan people. A total of 146 prisoners will be released on a special presidential pardon to mark the Independence Day. As more inmates were granted special pardon on August 31st and on November 20th last year and on January 8th this year due to this COVID-19 outbreak and in view of Christmas festival, the number of inmates to be released this time has decreased considerably. It is reported that the PCR tests of majority of the inmates who are to be granted special pardon have already been carried out. Accordingly, they will be released as soon as the test results are received. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, 337 officers and 8,226 other ranks of the Sri Lanka Army have received promotion in view of the 73rd Independence Day. The promotions were issued by Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, based on the recommendations of the Ministry of Defence and Chief of Defence, Staff and Commander of the Army General Shavendra Silva. The number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country has risen to 64,409 following the detection of 711 patients yesterday. All new cases reported yesterday were identified as contacts of the Minuangoda Paliagoda COVID-19 cluster. Accordingly, the Minuangoda Paliagoda COVID-19 cluster has increased to 62,409. Yesterday, 840 persons who recovered from COVID-19 were discharged from hospitals, raising the number of recoveries in the country to 59,883. Meanwhile, the chief epidemiologist Dr. Sudat Samaravira said that a total of 21,147 frontline workers have been vaccinated as of last evening. Accordingly, a total of 139,914 frontline workers have so far been vaccinated since January 29th. The government has commenced to take steps to purchase 9 million Oxford AstraZeneca Covishield vaccine doses. The Secretary of the State Ministry of Primary Health Services, Pandemics and COVID-19 Prevention, Dr. Amal Harsha De Silva, said a special discussion was held with the Chief Advisor to the President and the head of the Presidential Task Force for the COVID-19 vaccination drive, Lalit Weeratunga, in this regard. Dr. De Silva said it was determined that other vaccines will also be studied and further measures over the vaccines will be taken accordingly. With that, we conclude the local news. The main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Minister of Trade, Bandula Gunawardena, says an agreement has been reached to provide 27 essential goods at concessionary rates to the general public. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said the government has come to an agreement with manufacturers and importers to have a price control mechanism for rice, dal, flour, sugar, big onions and potatoes until June. The minister revealed that they had contacted suppliers for each commodity regarding the proposal. He added that the National Livestock Development Board, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, the Ministry of Skills Development and Vocational Training, and the Department of Animal Production and Health would also be suppliers to the project. That came to you in our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, the Ministry of Health says the general public must continue to follow the stipulated health and safety guidelines until the country eradicates the novel coronavirus completely. The Acting Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemant Herath, said citizens should be mindful of the seriousness of the virus and conduct their affairs diligently. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The headlines of the world news: US-Russia extend nuclear pact. India to supply COVAX with 1.1 billion vaccine doses. Golden Globes 2021, 3 female directors make history in nominations. Now the world news in detail. The United States and Russia have announced that they have extended their key nuclear accord for 5 years. The two governments said they have completed procedures for the extension of the New START or Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty until February 5, 2026. The accord obliges both sides to reduce deployed strategic nuclear warheads to no more than 1,550. It also limits the nuclear of ballistic missiles and other launchers to 800. In a statement, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said extending the New START treaty makes the United States, U.S. allies and partners and a world safer. An United Nations-backed facility says it has reached an agreement with India's Serum Institute to supply 1.1 billion doses of coronavirus vaccines. A total of 190 countries and territories are taking part in the COVAX facility. The World Health Organization, UNICEF and other international bodies run the framework aimed at ensuring fair distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. UNICEF Executive Director Henrietta Fowles announced that a long-term supply deal with Serum Institute of India for 1.1 billion doses of vaccine deployed by AstraZeneca and Novax. The company has signed contracts with AstraZeneca and Novax for the mass production of their vaccines. 3 women have been nominated for Best Director at the Golden Globe Awards, the first time more than one has been shortlisted in a single year. Regina King, Chloe Zhao and Emerald Fennell are up to for the prize, which had only previously nominated 5 women in the Golden Globe in a 77-year history. Mank leads the overall film awards race and with 6 nominations, while The Crown leads the TV categories, also with 6. With that, we conclude the foreign news. Prior to concluding the world news, the headlines of the world news once again. US-Russia extend nuclear pact. India to supply COVAX with 1.1 billion vaccine doses. Golden Globes 2021, 3 female directors make history in nominations. With that, we conclude the world news. Next up is the development news.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Manila initiated a virtual introductory meeting between the State Trading Corporation of Sri Lanka and the Philippine International Trading Corporation to discuss opportunities for mutually beneficial trade engagements between the two countries. The Ambassador Shobini Gunasekara, in her welcome remarks, highlighted to pursue initiatives in the trade sector with the goal of strengthening the bilateral trade relations. She underscored the importance of identifying areas for engagement in the trade sector where the strengths and the expertise of both countries can complement on, specifically in agriculture, information technology, processed food manufacturing, among others. That ends development news. Next up is the sports news. Taking a look at the sports news, it's cricket. Day 1 of the first test, Pakistan versus South Africa. Pakistan's Babar Azam opted to negotiate early morning moisture and potential extra bounce, choosing for his lineup to bat first in Rawalpindi. South Africa were not too unhappy with the decision, with Quinton de Kock expecting a little more for his quicks than they had in Karachi. Pakistan named an unchanged 11 as they sought a third successive Test series win at home and a first over South Africa since 2003. At lunch, Pakistan was 63 runs for the loss of 3 wickets, with Fawad Alam and Babar Azam at the crease with 16 and 24 runs respectively. That ends the sports news. Next up is the business news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The leading insurer Jana Shakti Life was recognized for their excellent performance in the Turnaround Brand of the Year category at the Slim Brand Excellence Awards 2020, which was held recently at the BMICH. The insurer received the Bronze Award in the above category in recognition of the excellent performance and successful implementation of the rebranding strategy of Jana Shakti Life. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Sri Lanka has suspended an order issued by Gazette under an import control law which allowed the import of tiles on credit within a day. The Controller General of Import and Export Control Department had instructed Sri Lanka Customs that an earlier order allowing tile imports under credit was suspended. The letter asked commercial banks which facilitate international trade to suspend the regulation allowing tiles to be imported under credit. That ends Economic News.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department issued an advisory for heavy showers, strong winds and rough seas in the southern and southeastern parts of the island. Due to this active cloudiness in the sea area to the southeastern and the southern of Sri Lanka, showers or thundershowers will occur in the sea areas extending from Batticaloa to Galle via Hambantota. The Met Department said further that the possibility for heavy showers or thunder showers and sudden roughness associated with the sudden increase of wind speed up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour in the above given deep sea areas are high, and naval and fishing communities have been advised to be vigilant in this regard in the above sea areas. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The President graces the 73rd Independence Day ceremony at the Independence Square. The Prime Minister says Sri Lanka stood against numerous challenges and still continues to do so. The United States, the European Union and China exchanges wishes to Sri Lanka for the Independence Day. The presidential pardon for 146 inmates in view of Independence Day. Over 8,000 army personnel promoted in the light of the 73rd Independence Day. Sri Lanka's coronavirus case tally surpassed 66,000. 27 essential goods to be given at concessionary rates. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friend and certainly yours as well. Asanka is all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music indeed. Over to you, Asanka.